So I think we can start. It's 10:06. Many people joined us in the last few minutes, so we can start. As I said, today's topic is our BIB. Specifically, actually, today we're going to see a BIB 603 Inox. That's the model of the BIB we're going to use. I will explain you that there are many different versions of our BIB. And every version has got a different name, obviously, and there are some numbers connected to it. So we're going to see how it works. Today, we're going to use the one with, first of all, two flavors. So 603 stands for 3 flavors. That means 2 flavors plus the mix. That's usually how soft machines work. Now, before starting having a look to the machine, I would like to introduce the machine itself, explaining, let's say, how it works and which is the concept of soft ice cream. Soft ice cream is for sure one of the most popular products in the world connected to ice cream. Very, very popular, especially in some area around the world. And its main characteristic is that soft ice cream is always super, super, super creamy. That's the secret of soft ice cream. That's the reason why everyone loves soft ice cream. And we will see that the technology behind a soft ice cream machine, it is completely designed in order to make the gelato always creamy and keep the creaminess for hours, in some cases also days. So that's the main characteristic of soft ice cream. And the other very important characteristic of a soft ice cream machine is that, especially this one, so the BIB we're going to see today, it is designed to produce many cones, so many cups, so many ice creams minute after minute. So soft ice cream machines, I always say, they are designed to work a lot. The more a soft ice cream machine works, the better the final product is going to be. That's exactly how soft machines they work, because you have to think that soft ice cream machines, they are exactly like an artisanal batch freezer, but with a small difference. That is that the gelato, once that it is ready, okay, inside an artisanal gelato machine, we just take it out, put it in a tray, a box, or a container, whatever it is, and we stock it somewhere. In the case of the ice cream machine, the gelato is ready and stays inside the gelato machine itself. Once that we need it, we open the spigot and the gelato comes out. So it is a completely different concept that needs a different recipe and a different approach to the production. That's the reason why we divide completely our courses about ice cream and gelato, but also how we approach these topics, because they are completely different. Many people, they think, I have my gelato recipe, I can use it also in my soft ice cream machine. It doesn't work like that. We're going to see, we're going to talk a bit about also the recipe of a soft ice cream, and we will see that there are some differences. Now, to start speaking about our BIB, the first big thing to say is that BIB is a pump machine. In the soft ice cream market, there are basically 2 different technologies that we can use inside our machines. One is the gravity machine, and the other one is the pump machine, okay? Which is the difference? The difference is the presence of the pump. Now, in a gravity machine, the mixer goes inside the batch freezing cylinder, okay, thanks to the gravity. So the mixer usually is, the liquid mix stays on the top of the machine, and there is a straight connection between the tank in which you keep the liquid mix and the cylinder in which you produce your gelato. That connection, thanks to the gravity that we all know, brings the soft mix liquid from the upper tank into the cylinder, and the gelato is batch frozen inside the cylinder. In that situation, we can say that we have a product that is in between, we can say, the soft ice cream and the artisanal gelato. Why? Because we have a technology that is like the soft ice cream technology. So we have a small cylinder with a spigot in front. You take out the gelato whenever you need. But the way the product is batch frozen is exactly like an artisanal gelato machine. There is the product inside, the machine moves, the cylinder is frozen, and the gelato gets batch frozen. Why I'm saying this? Because the pump machines are exactly the opposite. Why? Because instead of using the gravity, there is a pump, and that's why the machine is called a pump machine. There is a pump that sucks the mix and pushes the mix into the cylinder together with some air. So there we have the main difference, the real main difference between a gravity machine and a pump machine, and is the air content that in gelato making it is called overrun. Now, the big difference between a gravity machine and a pump machine is the overrun that we are able to give to our gelato. In the case of a pump machine, having a pump, as we said, that pushes the mix together with some air inside our production cylinder, we have much more air, because it's not just a natural process, the one that brings the gelato to increase its volume, but it is forced by a pump. Okay, so that's the first and very important thing to understand when we are testing or when we are evaluating a soft ice cream machine. Okay, if we have a machine with a pump, we can pretend a certain kind of performances. If we have a gravity machine, obviously the performances in terms of overrun especially, they are much lower because we don't have a pump. Okay, so BIB, it is a pump machine, and in the specific case of BIB, it is a peristaltic pump. What means a peristaltic pump? It means that the mixer goes into the pump, but not directly into the pump, because it is brought around by the use of some tubes. So it's not the mix that goes directly inside the mechanism that brings the mix inside my gelato cylinder, but we have some tubes that I have here. I will show you how they work and where they are placed. The mix goes into these tubes through a channel that connects the tank in which we have the liquid mix to the cylinder in which we need to produce our gelato. And thanks to these tubes, the process is super clean, super fast, and very easy to control. Okay, so the technology behind BIB is the peristaltic pump. Maybe you already heard something about peristaltic pumps, because they are the same pumps that are used in hospitals. Okay, in hospitals we are used many different kind of peristaltic pumps to drain the blood or many other stuff. So it's a very safe, clean, and very safe and clean technology that has very good performances. Now, before having a look to the machine, I just wanted to add something about, as I was saying, the gelato mix, so the ice cream mix. The concept of soft ice cream is that if our shop works properly, we will be able to sell many cones every minute. So the most important thing for a soft ice cream machine, especially a big one like this, is to have a gelato mix that is able to be frozen very quickly. Okay, that's the main topic when we make a recipe for a soft ice cream. So given that, we need, as I said, to work on the recipe that we are putting inside our ice cream machine, because we cannot use a normal gelato recipe. We need a recipe that, thanks to the ingredients inside, is able to get frozen in a very short time. Now, try to compare an artisanal gelato machine with a soft ice cream machine. As you can see here, the cylinders in which the gelato is contained is very small, and the gelato stays there for a few minutes if we are working a lot, because the gelato, the liquid gelato, goes inside the cylinder. It has to be frozen before reaching the front door and being extracted by the operator. So we have a limited time and a limited space to freeze our gelato as quickly as possible in order to serve it as quickly as possible. That's the reason why on the recipe we need to work basically on the sugars in order to reduce the sugar content of our soft ice cream and make a gelato recipe that is able to be frozen very quickly. We will say a few more things later, but even just this information, it is in most of the cases quite shocking for the people facing ice cream for the first time, because for most of us, ice cream is considered something like we are always thinking about like McDonald's, McFlurry, or in most of the cases, something like junk food, so full of fat, sugar, and stuff like that. Actually, a good soft ice cream, it is, as I just said, it has a lower sugar content in order to make a product that is perfect, dry, nice and creamy, and always ready when I need it. Okay, so this is another information related to the soft ice cream that is quite important. Now, we're going to use today, as always, two cameras. So this what I'm speaking now, and another one that goes closer to the gelato machine. Now I will move to the other camera to show you how the BIB is composed, and then we start assembling it. Okay, so
here we have the second camera, and we can have a look to our BIB. Now these are the two cylinders. One is still empty. We will assemble it together. Okay, the other one, it already has the agitator, the beater inside, but for the rest, also in this case, we still need to assemble it. So this part, the upper part, is the one where the gelato is made. Okay, so the mix, the liquid mix, will go here inside the cylinder, entering from the end of the cylinder. Okay, at the end there is the connection between the upper part and the bottom part. So once that the liquid mix is here, it gets frozen. It is beaten by the beater. Okay, so freezing it, we are also whipping it, and at the end we have our ice cream ready to be served and eaten. We will have a look to this process later. At the bottom, we have the cabinet in which we keep our gelato mix, thanks to some tanks that I will show you. And we have the pump. On the left, you see a pump that is already assembled. Okay, so it's ready. On the right, we have a pump that still has to be assembled. So as you see, we have, so I was saying, the pump is a quite big pump. Inside here, we have some wheels that are the one that will move in order to create the pressure, in order to suck the mix and the air, as we were saying before. And then in the middle, there is going to be one of the tubes we saw before. Then here on the top, we have the connection that brings the mix on top. Okay, so we will keep the mix into the tanks, suck the mix and the air thanks to the pump, and the pump will also push the mix on top to enter into the cylinder and make my gelato. Okay, great. Here in front of me now, on the other side of the room, we have the pieces that we still need to assemble and to put inside of our gelato machine. We will start from the beater. This is the beater. It's completely stainless steel, so it's very strong, and it has a huge whipping power when we are freezing our gelato. The other components of the beater are the scrapers, the plastic scrapers. Here we still have one assembled. I just wanted to show you how to put the others. So here we have another scraper, very simple system. We just place it here and twist it. in order to fix it. In this way, now it doesn't move anymore. It is self-adaptive, so it goes in the right position once that it is inside the cylinder. And we place also the last one. So in total, we have 3 scrapers. Same concept. We put it here and we twist it and it goes inside. Okay. As always, when we have a beater, one of the most important pieces is the seal that is at the bottom. So this is very important because it closes the connection between the cylinder and the motor. So it avoids the liquid mix to go inside the motor. We place now these inside our gelato machine, our ice cream machine. So the beater is assembled and we just go inside like this. When we put a beater inside a cylinder, we help the process twisting it a little bit. So it's easier to place it in the right position. Now the beater is inside. We just need to add one last part. That is this central part that it helps to balance the beater when it moves. So we just place it in the middle. As you can see, it stays always balanced. If I move it, it goes back in its position. So it helps the beater, as I said, to be balanced. Perfect. Now inside of the gelato machine, we don't have to add anything else. We put the beater with the scrapers, the seal, and the central balance. Now we can just close the upper part with the door. This door, as you can see, it has 3 exits. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. As we said, 2 flavors plus the mix. Okay, inside, also in this case, we have some, and that have to be greased always. Okay, so we can remove them, grease them, clean them, and everything else. Now we just place the door here in front, and we just enter in the proper spot. To fix the door and lock it, we have 4 screws. So we just place them here at the corners, bottom corners, like that, and also on the top here in the middle. 1 and 2. These are the ones that close the front door and the cylinders. Okay, so it's very important to screw them properly. As you see, I work in this way, always screwing one on the left and one on the right, so we don't we place the door perfectly balanced, okay, and perfectly at the center of the exit. And step by step, I keep screwing them in order to put the door and have a door that is super stable. I take a sponge and I also give the last twist. So I'm sure everything is super tight. Okay, the door is placed. Now we just need to add the pistons. Here, the pistons to control the exit of our gelato. We have obviously 3 pistons here, okay? As you can see, they are different because we have 2 that are like, they just have 2 seals, 2 O-rings, normal O-rings, okay? And one that has got this special O-ring with this connection in the center. Obviously, this one goes in the center. The other 2, they go on the sides. So we just place the first one here. We place the second here. We just push. As probably you saw they are greased, so they are they go inside very easily and very quickly. Okay. We place them in the right position, and now we just need to put to finish the assembling of the door, the handlers. So the system that we use to take out the gelato. We start from the right. We have 3 of them. We place it like here, and we fix it like this. We put the second, and we fix it. We put the third one, and we fix it. Okay, so this is the system that we use to fix the handlers. Now we just check if they move easily. And as you can see, when I open the handlers, the piston goes up. And so the cylinder is able to take out some gelato. Consider that being a machine with a pump, the cylinder is under pressure. So whenever you open just a little bit here, the gelato comes out very quickly because we have more than 2 bars inside the cylinder. So it's high pressure and the gelato comes out very, very quickly. Okay, so on the top, nothing else to do. I did it slowly, but actually it's something that takes a few seconds because as you saw, we just have the beater, the door in front, and the handlers. So it's basically 3 parts with some components, but quite easy to assemble everything. We just need now to go downstairs, let's say, and assemble the pump. Here we are. Now I assembled the left pump already, so we go faster. I just show you the right one. They are exactly the same. So once that you know how to assemble one, the other one is exactly the same. We start putting the connection between the bottom part and the upper part. So we go here, as always, here we put some grease and we place it inside the hole and we lock it with this system. So in this way, once that this is properly placed, it doesn't move again. It's impossible now for this tube to come out by itself because there is the locking system. Now, as you see, the gray tube is like free to move. The one that goes inside the pump is the yellow one, okay? So here we just keep this white part, that is, we will talk about this, is the air meter. So the control of the air amount stays on the left. And we place it here, inside the pump. The tube goes into the pump and we put the other part right. Like this. Don't worry, this tube super solid, okay? So it is designed to be stressed continuously 24/7. So it's very elastic. Don't worry, you will never break it by hand, okay? So when you're placing it, just stress it as you need, move it as you need, is not a problem. Once that the tube, the yellow tube, is inside the pump, this red tube is the one that sucks the mixer, so it's free to move as well. We just need to close the pump here, okay? So we use this spring, we close the pump, and then we screw it in order to lock it. Very good. So the pump is assembled, the gray tube is free, the red tube is free, and the yellow tube stays inside the pump. We just need now to cover the pump for safety reasons. As always, when we have automatic machines, we have to avoid any risks for the person using it. So there is this cover that makes the pump safe. In this way, when the pump is moving, you cannot put your hand into the pump. Whenever you remove this cover, the machine stops because it knows that the pump is open. Okay. A few more things about this bottom part, and then we start placing some mix and we make some gelato. Here we have this black part. That is the sensor level. The sensor level, we need to add the sensor. That is very easy connection, like this, and we go inside. This is the sensor level that goes inside the tank with the mix in order to understand how much mix is left. When we are running out of mix, the machine will tell us you are running out of mix, so we will be able to refill it when it's almost over. Okay. The last, obviously important part here at the bottom is the tank with the mix. I already have a tank here full of yogurt, ice cream. Okay, so we see how to make the frozen yogurt. This is the tank. On top of the tank, we have two lids, one and one in front. So bottom and front. Here, as you can see, there are two holes that are not there random, but they are for the sensor level that goes in the big one and the red tube that sucks the mix. In this way, both the sensor and the tube are always perfectly vertical, and they are able to calculate how much mix is left and suck the mix properly. So we check that everything is okay. These can be removed easily, so you can add some liquid mix if you need it. Okay, so that's the reason why the lid is divided in two sections. And that's it. Here, next to it, there is the space for a second container that today we won't use because we're going to make just one flavor. But if we wanted to make another flavor, we should place the second tank here. Okay, so here at the bottom, there is nothing else to do. We just have the tank and the pump is assembled, so we can close the door of our cabinet. That cabinet is refrigerated, so it's like a fridge. We can leave the mix there as much as we need, as long as we need, no problems. It will keep the temperature if we switch on the machine, obviously. Okay. Now, to start making some gelato and produce the first yogurt cone, we need to have a look to the screen here and all the buttons that we have. They are actually quite simple, and we can start from the most simple one. The first one is for sure the stop. Stop is for stopping the machine in any moment, as always. And in this moment, the machine is in stop. Then gelato for production. So when we start the production, we will press the cone. Okay. We have these two buttons that actually they are fake buttons because you can press them, but nothing will happen. They are just alarms of the sensor level. So if the level of the mix is not enough, as you can see from the design, the light will be switched on and an alarm will be also written on the screen. The reset button is, first of all, the conservation button. So it makes, it transforms the soft ice cream machine in a fridge. So at night, when I close the shop and I go home, instead of keeping the gelato there, being frozen, being moved, and being stressed, we just stop the machine and press reset. In this way, the whole machine keeps 4 degrees into the cylinder and into the cabinet, and we have the night mode, so the conservation. The same concept is for the button next to it, but in this case, instead of having fridge temperature in the whole machine, we just have fridge temperature in the cabinet at the bottom. So this button is used in the situations in which it's evening, you clean the machine, you disassemble everything, you reassemble everything, and then you want to keep the liquid mix into the cabinet overnight, but obviously you don't need to charge the machine. So the upper part is going to be empty. So instead of putting in the fridge mode the whole machine, like with this button, we put in fridge mode just the bottom part, so just the cabinet. And the upper part is going to be completely switched off, so it will keep the room temperature. Okay. Then we have the 2 arrows up and down. The upper one is alone, the bottom one is together with the reset button, and we will use them to move in the menu, set the parameters, and move around. Last button, quite important as well, is the mixing button. The mixing button is used in many situations, especially for start up the machine. So that's what we're going to use now to activate the machine and start the production, and also for cleaning. When we clean the machine, we will use this button to flush the water and move the water inside the machine. Perfect. We are, I think, able and ready to start working on the machine. The mix is ready. The machine is assembled. Everything is set. The last thing that I wanted to show you is how we can set the machine. So first of all, the first setting that we have is the consistency of our gelato. What is the consistency? Consistency is the hardness of my gelato. If you are used to artisanal gelato machine, they work in exactly the same way. When you produce your gelato, you set the hardness of your gelato, the final product that you want to get. Here is exactly the same. And the setting can be done entering in the manager menu. Into the manager menu, we can enter pressing stop and reset together for 1 second, like this. Here, as you can see, the first parameter that is showed on the screen is HOT 100. 1 stands for the first of the 2 flavors. So the one on the left, we count as we read. So from the left, 1 and 2. So cylinder 1 on the left, cylinder 2 on the right. So here it says, in the cylinder 1, which consistency do you want? If you, sorry, it went out. I waited for too long. So we go back here, okay. So if we want to increase, we press arrow up. If we want to decrease, we press arrow down. In this case, we don't care about HOT1 because we will switch off the left cylinder. It's empty. We don't use it. We don't need it. Okay, I'll show you how to switch it off. So here is set 100. We leave 100, but actually we don't care. To move to the next step, we press stop. Stop HOT2, 100 again. In this case, considering the mix that I'm using, I will decrease this number to 90. We will see how it is. Consider that we will be able to change this parameter in any moment, even once that the gelato is ready. Okay, so usually I prefer to start low, about 80, 85, 90, because then you're always in time to increase it. Okay, it's going to be more difficult to decrease it because the gelato will be already too frozen maybe. And to decrease the consistency, you just need to like melt it a little bit, like waiting. So it's not the best option. As you can see, if you don't do anything for a few seconds, the machine just saves what you changed and goes out from the manager menu. But let's go back for a while just to see the other parameters available. So HOT1, HOT2, so consistency on the right. And here we have active side. You can switch both of them on, yes and yes, or with the arrows, you can change the settings. So yes on the left, no on the right, or no on the left, yes on the right. That's what we need now. So the left cylinder doesn't work, the right cylinder works, okay? So we set it like that. Again, to save it, we can wait a few seconds, or we can press the key, okay? Here, there are no more parameters to set. There is just the consistency and the active side, okay? So we just go out, we save everything, and it's done. So the first parameter to set in order to decide how our gelato is gonna be is the consistency, and we set it. The second parameter, instead of being in the software, is a mechanical parameter, and is what we said before, the air meter. So here, I was telling you, this white part is where we put the air inside our gelato. So we twist this white part, we take it out. This is just the locking system. And this is the air meter. I'll show you a bit closer. Here we have the air meter. It's a very small plastic part, and inside at the center, maybe from the camera it's not easy to read, but there is a very, 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 very small hole, and written together with it, there is a number. In this case, it's 12. Why? Because we have different air meters, okay? The bigger is the hole, the more air we get. This is the 12. We also have the 9 available, but then we also have many others, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. So the higher we go with the number, the more air we will get inside our gelato. So changing this air meter, we completely change the final texture and the final structure of our gelato. Now we leave these 12 and we will see how our gelato goes. Perfect. I put it back, I lock it as it was, and now we are really ready to start our production. So the first thing that we need to do with a soft machine is to fill the cylinder. So now the cylinder is empty, and we need to put some mix inside. How to do it? First of all, we take an empty jar, okay, like this, and we stay here at the bottom. We open the spigot, and we press mix. In this way, the machine starts working, activating the beater and the pump, as is on the screen. When the mix comes out, I just close everything. Why? In this way, I know that the mix is going inside the cylinder. Okay? The beater is moving inside, the pump is working, and now the cylinder is going to be filled with some mix. When the cylinder is under pressure, as you can see, the machine stops. Now, before, let's say, normally people think, okay, I can start making my gelato. That's the wrong option. Because first of all, we need to depressurize the cylinder. So remove the air that was inside the cylinder, and then now it's together with my gelato. So before,
there must be a problem with the connection on the other camera, so we just use this one. As I was saying, the machine now is under pressure. The cylinder is under pressure. We need to depressurize the cylinder and take out the mix and the air that is inside. We don't want to have extra air inside the cylinder. We just want the cylinder full of gelato, no air. Just the air that goes inside with the pump, but not the air that was inside before, because obviously we are in the atmosphere. We are not working under vacuum, okay? So before producing, we place the jar here in front and we open everything. In this way, the mix comes out, and I removed also some air bubbles that were inside. This mix is still safe, so we're gonna put it back at the tank. But now we are ready to charge the cylinder again and then start the production. So now I do exactly what I did before. I press the mixing button. I start the work of the pump and the beater. They are moving now. And I'm charging the cylinder again. I place here back the mix that I just took out, so we don't waste any gram of my gelato mix, and we wait until the cylinder goes in pressure again. Okay. Once that the cylinder is in pressure, we are able to start the production. So now we just press the cone and the machine starts the production. Nothing else to do. So cone and the machine is producing. So now on the screen, the machine says, wait, because obviously the gelato is not ready. It's still liquid, obviously. Now we are producing it. So we are batch freezing it, and we will wait until the gelato is ready. Once that the gelato is ready, on the screen, we will see gelato ready. And at that point, we will be able to take it out. Consider that, as I said, now the machine will reach the consistency that we set. Using the air meter that we put, we are getting a certain amount of air. Then we will check how is the product, and if we like it, it's perfect. If we want to change something, maybe make it a bit more soft, a bit more frozen, a bit less airy, a bit more airy, then we can add, increase the consistency, decrease the consistency, change the air meter. We can change whatever we want. We don't need to, we are not forced to do a certain kind of product. We have some parameters in order to change the product that we are doing and make exactly what we are looking for. While we are waiting until the gelato is ready, I just wanted to show you also another part that can be changed on the machine. That is how, let's say, you take, which is the shape of the gelato coming out of the machine. So the classical shape, the one that we always use, is the star. Okay, so this is the nozzle that we use if we want to take out the classical gelato with the classical shape of soft serve ice cream. Thanks to the door that we placed on the machine now, there is a screw system, so we can screw the nozzle on the door and change it whenever we need. Okay, so when the gelato is going to be ready, I will place one nozzle and we will try it. But actually, we have also other shapes available. For example, we have a smaller star with a different design. We have, for example, the spaghetti ice. So to make spaghetti ice, a different shape again. Or, for example, in the case of BIB, we have also two different spigots. One is this one, and the other one is this one, with two different shapes. One is flat, and the other, it has a star shape as well. These are the spigots that we use to fill the gelato jars. So if, for example, I want to fill a jar like that, plastic jar full of gelato, or I want to fill also a bigger jar like this one. This is 400 milliliters. Okay, I can use this nozzle that will help me in filling completely the jar from the bottom and then coming up. Okay, so if I'm using the classical nozzle, it's going to be very hard, very difficult to fill completely this tab. With the help of one of these two instruments, I can play much more with the gelato that I'm taking out from the ice cream machine. So this is another option that we have if we plan to use the BIB. Then, as I was saying before, my suggestion is to start thinking about the soft ice cream machines and the BIB especially as a standard batch freezer, but with a different technology behind. Why I'm saying this? Because in most of the cases, people think about soft ice cream as chocolate and vanilla. But actually, the best thing of having a technology that can be adapted as this one, that's the reason why I was showing you different settings, different parameters in terms of consistency and air meter. Because using a machine like this, I can create many different recipes, okay? It's not just about chocolate and vanilla or yogurt as we are doing now, but for example, we can start making soft sorbet, so water-based gelato. I can make a soft ice cream with mango, with raspberries, with coconut, with lime, with peach, with watermelon. I can play with the fruits in order to make a sorbet in the soft ice cream version, or I can start playing with milk-based gelato. So it's not just, as I said, about vanilla and chocolate. I can start making any kind of nuts, so pistachio, hazelnut, pine nuts, peanut butter as well. So many different kind of nuts. I can make, I don't know, tiramisu, caramel, zabaglione. The options are never ending, thanks to the fact that I can regulate the machine as I need. I am not forced to do something because of the technology of the machine, but it is the machine that is helping me to adapt the process to the product that I'm doing. As I was saying before, the important thing is once that we decide to make a soft ice cream recipe, to follow the rules of a soft ice cream recipe. So just to give you a few informations, as I said, less sugar. Consider that in a soft ice cream recipe, we usually stay between 11 and 15, 16% of sugar. So 2-5 points less than an artisanal gelato. And in that case, we use sugars with a low anti-freezing power. We don't use like inverted sugar, dextrose, fructose. These sugars are not a good option when we are making a soft ice cream because they have an anti-freezing power that is too high. And as we said, in a soft ice cream machine, our main goal is to freeze our gelato as quickly as possible, making a texture that is as frozen as possible. The gelato is now ready. Here on the screen, I will go on the other.
Here on the screen, we see that the left side is switched off. The right side is ready to be served. The temperature 25 now, obviously, is not the temperature of the gelato, is the temperature of the cabinet because we just switched on the machine. So now the machine will start decreasing also the temperature of the cabinet until it reaches 4 degrees, so normal fridge temperature. Now, our gelato, I take the star nozzle that we were seeing before, I screw it inside my door, very easily, done. And now we see if our gelato is nice and creamy. Our yogurt. Here we are. So our soft frozen yogurt is perfectly frozen, very, very creamy. Unfortunately, you cannot eat it, but it's super, super creamy. And the texture is full of air because we set the machine with 12 as air meter. Usually, when we make soft frozen yogurt, we don't put a lot of air because yogurt doesn't need a lot of air. In this case, I wanted to push the machine, let's say, to the limit to show you how creamy it can be yogurt as well. And so we have a very, very creamy frozen yogurt. In this case, for example, as we were saying before, I can change the nozzle here and place, for example, the smaller star. So I put the other star here. Let me see how it is. Different shape, completely different. Very, very nice. Very nice. So changing the nozzle, as you can see, very quickly, because we just need to unscrew it, we can change completely the design of the product that we are offering to our customer. I just wanted to show you also the reason why the monoportion nozzle is interesting too. So I just screw it in, same concept. Then I take a gelato tub, 120 milliliter plastic. I place it right at the bottom of the nozzle and I start taking out my gelato. As you can see, the plus of this system is that we can fill completely our container. Okay, if we try to do the same, just to show you, with the classical nozzle, okay, so the star one, that is not able to reach the bottom of the container, the process is going to be much more difficult. So I go like this. The glass is full of holes. It's not bad. It always depends on what you want to offer to your customer. The design now is fantastic. It's very nice. But obviously, it's not a gelato tub full of gelato. Okay, so if we are selling our product, for example, closed, selling it per volume and not per weight, this is cheating on the customers, okay? Because it's full of holes. That is exactly the opposite of the situation with the monoportion filler. Okay, so two different systems for two different final results. We are always also able, for example, to fill small monoportions. Okay, so this is a glass for gelato monoportions. I'll show you just the last nozzle, the long one with the star. I place it here. And in this case, I can fill something like that, very nice, very easily and quickly. So I can make one, but then I can make the second very quickly. And I can keep going very, very fast. This is basically the reason why this system can help so much in the production of these kind of products. Okay, these were done in a few seconds, super good as monoportions. Okay, let's go back to the front camera.
So we saw how to assemble the BIB, we saw how to regulate the BIB, and we saw how to produce some gelato, extract some gelato with many different shapes, many different options. I hope it's clear, I'm sure it's clear that BIB, it's a powerful technology, and its power is given by the power of the pump and the power of the compressor, but also the capacity of being flexible. So we can adjust it as we need, we can play with its regulations in order to make the product as we need, and thanks to this, we can offer to our customers not just the classical and basic vanilla and chocolate. There is obviously possible to do it, but it's also possible to make many other products. The last good part, good characteristic of this machine, to close the webinar and then leave the space for some questions. If you have some questions, this is the right moment to write them down in the Q&A section. The cleaning process, it's easy as well. Why? Because thanks to the peristaltic pump system, we don't need to disassemble completely the machine to be able to clean every spot in which the mix goes, so every spot that is dirty. Thanks to the peristaltic pump, the cleaning can be done easily, flushing the machine with some water. So when I clean the machine, I just remove the tank with the mix, place instead of the mix some hot water, and I start flushing the machine with that water. In this way, the whole circuit in which the machine goes is cleaned by the hot water with some sanitizer also if I want. So I don't need to disassemble completely the machine in order to clean it. That's a big plus, and that allows us to disassemble completely the machine just once per month. So the deep cleaning process of this machine, it is a patented process, and it helps to clean the machine just once per month. That is obviously a big plus, because soft machines, we all know, they are very easy to use, but when we need to start disassembling, cleaning, and everything else, they can be quite tricky. In this case, the pieces, as you saw, compared to other soft machines, are less. We don't have many pieces, and this flushing system helps us in doing everything very quickly and very simply. Okay. I hope it was complete enough and exhaustive enough, the whole webinar. I can see that there are no questions in the Q&A section and in the chat as well. So I hope everything is clear. I thank you a lot for these 60 minutes together. I remember you that this week we have the last webinars of our whole month of webinars. So in May, we made a lot of them, and they are all online on YouTube, the recorded versions. But tomorrow we have the second and last one about soft machines, focusing on the P1, that is the machine next to it, the smaller version of our pump machines. And on Thursday, we have the webinar, the last one, about our new Vario Icona, so the combo machine. Thanks again for your time. I'll see you online during the week, or I'll see you around very soon. Thanks, and have a nice day.